In the heart of Central Asia lies Tajikistan, a country with breathtaking mountains and a rich cultural heritage. But behind this picturesque landscape lies a darker reality, one shaped by a single man's iron rule. EMOMALI Rahmon has led Tajikistan for decades, controlling every aspect of public and private life. Known for his strict policies, intolerance towards dissent, and controversial family dynasty, EMOMALI is a figure both feared and revered. Today, we'll pull back the curtain on EMOMALI Rahmon's life and his impact on Tajikistan's present and future. From rural roots to becoming one of Central Asia's longest reigning leaders, this is the story of EMOMALI Rahmon. EMOMALI Rahmon was born on October 5, 1952, in the small, rural village of Dangara. During that time, Tajikistan was part of the Soviet Union, a place where communist ideology dictated every aspect of life, and farming was one of the few ways to earn a livelihood. EMOMALI Rahmon's childhood was marked by the hardships of farm life, and he experienced firsthand the struggles of rural Tajikistan. These humble beginnings became a powerful narrative when he entered politics, painting himself as a man of the people. He joined the Communist Party, which was the primary way for anyone in the Soviet Union to climb the social ladder. Through the party, EMOMALI Rahmon made a name for himself, gradually gaining influence and forging connections that would later prove invaluable. In 1991, the collapse of the Soviet Union plunged Tajikistan into chaos. Unlike other Central Asian countries, Tajikistan's independence wasn't celebrated with open arms. Instead, it was followed by a brutal civil war as various factions, pro-communists, Islamists, and Democrats, vied for control. By 1992, the country was engulfed in violence, with entire communities destroyed and over 50,000 people losing their lives in a conflict that left deep scars. In the midst of this bloodshed, EMOMALI Rahmon was appointed as a compromise leader by the pro-communist faction. At the time, he was a relatively unknown figure, chosen largely for his perceived neutrality. But EMOMALI was quick to act. In 1997, he successfully negotiated peace with the Islamic opposition, ending the civil war and solidifying his power. However, this peace came at a cost. EMOMALI Rahmon used the war as a pretext to clamp down on any opposition, securing a position that soon transformed into a lifetime presidency. EMOMALI Rahmon portrayed himself as the man who saved Tajikistan from chaos. But as we'll see, his rule soon became a story of control, censorship, and authoritarianism. One of the most chilling episodes in EMOMALI Rahmon's presidency occurred in the remote Gorno-Badakhshan region, a mountainous area bordering Afghanistan. Known for its independence-minded population, Gorno-Badakhshan has often been critical of EMOMALI Rahmon's government, with the locals resenting the lack of economic development and state neglect. Tensions between the region's residents and the central government were always high, but things took a violent turn in 2012. When a government official was killed under suspicious circumstances, EMOMALI used it as a pretext for a massive military operation to restore order. Thousands of troops flooded the region, leading to weeks of bloody clashes between government forces and local militias. By the end, scores of civilians were dead and thousands have been displaced. Human rights organizations condemned the operation as a brutal overreach, accusing the government of using excessive force and violating basic human rights. For EMOMALI Rahmon, however, Gorno-Badakhshan was a clear signal to the rest of the country. Dissent would not be tolerated. This crackdown served as a grim reminder of his willingness to resort to violence to maintain control, sending shockwaves through the international community and striking fear into the hearts of his citizens. Tajikistan is a nation with deep Islamic roots. Islam shapes the culture, traditions, and daily lives of its people. Yet, under EMOMALI Rahmon's rule, religious practices have faced relentless government control. EMOMALI Rahmon's government has imposed strict limitations on religious practices, particularly targeting outward symbols of Islamic faith. Men with long beards are frequently pressured to shave, and women are discouraged from wearing hijabs in public institutions. In 2015, EMOMALI Rahmon's administration banned minors from attending mosques, a policy that angered many devout families who view the mosque as a fundamental part of their children's education and upbringing. EMOMALI justifies these policies by claiming they protect Tajikistan from religious extremism. However, critics argue that these measures are a way to suppress any form of organized belief that could challenge his authority. For instance, the government controls the Islamic clergy, ensuring that sermons delivered in mosques align with state narratives. The government even went as far as controlling the country's only state-sanctioned Islamic political party, the Islamic Renaissance Party of Tajikistan, IRPT. For years, the IRPT was the only legal Islamic party in Central Asia, but EMOMALI Rahmon banned it in 2015, labeling it a terrorist organization despite its peaceful methods. This action eliminated one of the last remaining political groups capable of challenging his rule. For many Tajiks, EMOMALI Rahmon's actions are a personal affront to their faith and freedom. This restriction on religion has alienated a large portion of the population, who feel they can't practice their beliefs without fear of persecution. The irony here is sharp. EMOMALI Rahmon rose to power with the promise of peace, yet his repression of Islam has only deepened the divide. Despite being rich in natural resources like aluminum, cotton, and hydropower potential, Tajikistan remains one of the poorest countries in Central Asia. Official reports indicate that EMOMALI Rahmon's family and allies control much of the country's wealth, while ordinary Tajiks face economic hardship and poverty. A staggering portion of Tajikistan's GDP comes from remittances, as nearly half of the adult male population works abroad, mostly in Russia, to send money back to their families. The lack of jobs and low wages in Tajikistan make it nearly impossible for many families to survive without this external support. EMOMALI Rahmon's administration has done little to address this, as many argue he benefits from this system. Families sending remittances are less likely to protest, since they're more dependent on external income. EMOMALI Rahmon's daughter, Ozoda Rahmon, and his son, Rustam EMOMALI, occupy high-ranking government positions. Rustam, for example, serves as the mayor of Dushanbe and head of the Senate, effectively placing him as second in command. These positions give the EMOMALI Rahmon family a near monopoly on political and economic power in Tajikistan. This concentration of power has fostered a culture of corruption that affects every level of society. International organizations consistently rank Tajikistan as one of the most corrupt countries in the world. To secure even basic services, Tajiks often have to pay bribes. This lack of transparency creates a cycle of poverty and dependency that keeps the average Tajik struggling. EMOMALI Rahmon's grip on Tajikistan isn't just about his personal rule. Over the past decade, he's carefully positioned his children to take over key roles in the government, solidifying a family dynasty. Rustam EMOMALI's rapid rise to power has many Tajiks concerned. While he holds the title of mayor of Dushanbe, his influence extends far beyond the capital. As head of the Senate, Rustam is next in line to assume the presidency if anything happens to EMOMALI Rahmon. His sister, Ozoda, also wields significant power as chief of the presidential administration, a role that places her at the heart of Tajik politics. The creation of this dynasty is a double-edged sword. On one hand, EMOMALI Rahmon can maintain stability in his inner circle, but on the other, it erodes any semblance of a democratic process. Critics argue that EMOMALI Rahmon is creating a system where his family will rule for generations, effectively eliminating the possibility for any future democratic reforms. This dynasty in the making is a testament to EMOMALI RAHMON'S desire to ensure his legacy. But at what cost? As his family tightens its grip on the nation, the dream of a free Tajikistan drifts further away. EMOMALI RAHMON's story is one of power and control, a leader who started as a man of the people but built a fortress of authority around himself and his family. As we've seen, his rule has left a mixed legacy, one where religious freedom is restricted, economic disparity remains, and his family's grip on power tightens every day. But in a rapidly changing world, no leader can rule forever. So, what will happen next for Tajikistan? Will EMOMALI RAHMON's legacy be one of stability or repression? Only time will tell. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more insights into the hidden truths behind the world's leaders. And don't forget that it's the worthless world, and human life is more valuable than this. Peace be upon you.